It's good to have you guys joining in. I appreciate it. If you're a subscriber, I really appreciate it. So before we get started, I do want to thank B&H Photo, who I'm affiliated with in the sense that they allow me to review gear. So they sent me this lens to try out. So I could review it. So thanks so much to those guys. You can hit that link that I posted to see the specs over at the B&H website of this lens that I got. So just a little backstory. I moved over to OM System cameras in mid 2023 because they fit a specific need for me, which is a smaller, lighter system. And as a professional leading photography tour, that's how I try to earn my income. I like to do travel photography and I like to do wildlife photography. And a smaller system is great for both of those things. So switching over to Micro Four Thirds for me has been tremendously helpful. My photography has not suffered from it. My back feels a lot better from it. So I want to talk about the lens that I just received while I was in Chicago. It arrived the other day. And that is the OM System 50 to 100 f2.8 Pro. Here's the box that it comes in, so you can see it. It's got all these alphabet soup. But really, what this means is that it in Micro Four Thirds, it's a 2x crop, so it's effectively a 100 to 400. So this is a lens that honestly, OM Systems really needed to get in their lineup for a long time because the 100 to 400 millimeter focal length range is incredibly versatile, and just about all the other manufacturers have them. I had the Nikon one, I know Sony's had them. There are those lenses in that range or similar, and it's such a versatile range because it gives you a short telephoto at the wide end, 400 millimeters at the long end. It's perfect for most wildlife scenarios other than little birds. Now, let me take this lens out. Here it is. Beautiful lens. It's one of these white ones. So that's, if you're familiar with OM System, they've only got one other white lens, and that's the big 150 to 400, which I happen to have purchased last year. Now, this thing is very lightweight. It comes in just under 3 pounds. I think the spec sheet says, I don't look at the specs over on my other monitor here. 1,250 grams. That's not including the tripod collar and the lens hood and stuff like that. So under 3 pounds. And just, in comparison, here's the 100 to 400 Olympus lens, OM lens. It weighs just over 3 pounds. This is, of course, a 200 to 800 millimeter equivalent. It's also a lot slower. This is a f a 5 to 6.3, I believe. This is a constant f2.8 aperture. It has internal zoom. What does that mean? It means that when I zoom the lens ring, you can see the lens elements move on the inside. The lens does not change length. This is great for balance. It also means that you can easily zoom this with just one hand. So that's nice. So you go from 50 to 200, or in equivalents, 100 to 400. Okay. And I've only just I just took it out of the box yesterday, so I've just started playing with it. It focuses incredibly fast, as you would expect an f2.8 lens to do. It has the internal focusing motor. It also has the sync image stabilizing. So it synchronizes with the body. If you're shooting an OM1 or an OM3, one of those bodies, it has the, I want to say it's like 7 stops of stabilization. Let me see if I can find it here. 7 stop, 5-axis sync image stabilization. So this thing is really great for that. So it's a handheld option that's really meant for it. So it does have the tripod collar on, and I'll get to that in a second. Let's just go over the stuff on the lens. It's got the tripod collar. Okay. Now, OM System is pretty smart. Most of their lenses, you can see right here, this built-in Arca Swiss compatible dovetail. Smart. So you don't need to buy a aftermarket plate or collar replacement for this lens. It's you can just put it on your Arca Swiss. Now, am I going to use this on a tripod? Maybe, but probably not. You can use this lens for any kind of purposes, but mostly I'm thinking handheld, wildlife, maybe some landscape application because I do like telephoto landscapes. Now, let's look at the side here. We've got all the various switches, so I'll just go through them. Starting at the top, the first switch on there is the focus limiter. So it goes between the full range, which I believe is 0.78 meters, so just under 3 feet, all the way out to infinity. That's the full range. Then you have two other positions. You've got the distance position, which is 3 meters to infinity. And then the near position, which is kind of a nice touch, which is the near focus to 3 meters. So if you're just doing close-up stuff like, butterflies or something like that, you can limit this. Now, I should point out that the OM system cameras, they have a customizable focus limiter option in the firmware, in the menus. You can actually dial in your own custom ranges, but reposition switch is great. Some cameras, some lenses only have two positions, full or, the distance. So having the short range is nice. You have the AF switch, so you can switch to manual focus just by flipping a switch. The image stabilization on or off, that's important. You want to have it on most of the time. And then lastly, there's a 3-position switch on the bottom, and that is for the function of these buttons around the lens collar. So you can set the button to be your lens function, which you program in the camera itself, or preset focus distance. And there's this set button, presumably to make a focus preset. So why is that important? Well, sports photographers, if you're shooting from a blind or you're shooting somewhere where where you're not changing your position, having a focus preset's great. Imagine you're in a blind, there's a tree branch, the birds are going to come there, let's say. You can pre-focus on the tree branch so that when something lands on that branch, all you have to do is hit the recall button. Boom, the lens is already on the branch, and then finding the bird in the frame will be very easy. Okay. Tripod collar here. It's the clamp style, but it's not the built-in kind, but I believe you can remove it. Yeah, it's got the hinge on here. So it is removable. So you take that off and you shed some weight. Okay, I'm not going to do that just this second, but it's there. And let's put this on my camera. Oh, before I forget, there is a lens hood. And I want to show you something cool about this lens hood. I just noticed it. So the lens hood is your typical click bayonet mount lens hood. It has a release button on the side, but here's the cool thing. It's got the little window. So if you were to be using polarizing filter, you could rotate that filter by just opening up the little window. So you want to put that on the bottom side. So let me get it on my OM1 Mark II here. Goes on like that. Very, very lightweight, very easy to maneuver. Now, the other thing, let's just see if I can focus on something here. Turn the camera on. Yeah, the focus is almost instant on this thing. I'm just shooting across the street here. It just immediately snaps into focus, and it's absolutely silent. Not that I'm doing any video with this lens, but if you were, you would have silent autofocusing, which is kind of cool. Now, last thing about this lens, which makes it very compelling, is that the f2.8 maximum aperture, it's not only bright, okay, and you get shallower depth of field, but it means that it's not going to change aperture as you zoom, so it's constant through the range. But it also means that you can use a teleconverter, and I think I have one over here somewhere in my bag of tricks here. Where's my teleconverter? Here we go. this is compatible with both the I'm back. Both the 1.4 and the 2x teleconverters. Now, don't get me wrong, a teleconverter is not a replacement uh, for a big lens. They work best on fixed aperture zooms. The better the lens, the better your quality is going to be if you put a teleconverter on. So these teleconverters, teeny. So this is the 1.4 teleconverter, 1.4x. So that extends it up. Takes you from, I got to do my math, from 200 times 1.4 is 280. Okay. So that gives you almost 300. So then on that, and then here's the 2x teleconverter, which is equally small, just a little thicker. This will give you a 100 to 400, and it would be f5.6. You lose 2 stops. Now, f5.6 is still plenty fast for most wildlife scenarios, unless you're shooting in available darkness, but you can boost your ISO on your camera. So with this this teleconverter and this lens, you can have a 200 to 800 equivalent. In other words, you would have a lens that is basically the same as this one in terms of its reach, but a little bit faster, better stabilization, and internal zoom. So this is the 100 to 400. It's a great lens. It's a fantastic value for the money, but you'll see how it has the external zoom. So why? What would be preventing you from getting something like this? And I'll be honest about it. It's the price tag on this lens, right? This lens retails $36.99. Yeah, that's a $3,700 US price. That's what I'm seeing at the B&H website. It is in stock, so yay, so you can get it. But that's a lot of money for any kind of zoom. But this is top end. It's got full weather sealing, constant f2.8 aperture. You pay for those things. It has better focus motor. Let's be honest, I'm sure there's some impact of import tariffs probably driving some of that price, but I don't know. So I wish it were less expensive. It's going to be a difficult decision for me if I want to actually shell out that money and buy this lens after my evaluation period has ended. I mean, it's tempting. If you're doing a lot of larger wildlife, like if you're going to Africa, oh yeah, I have a trip to Namibia planned for next October. Check out, that's over on my Substack, The Photographer's Perspective. Got space if you want to go. This lens in Africa, perfect. I mean, absolutely perfect. You have all that range and you see some birds, you just throw your TC on and you have extra reach. You have absolutely perfect, small, lightweight. You can put it in a small backpack. It's not going to weigh you down. Like I said, it's just under 3 pounds, and that's with the collar attached. So perfect safari lens if you're going to Africa. Again, any sort of larger wildlife. So if you're in Yellowstone or any of those big national parks where there's elk, this is going to be a fantastic option for you. So I'm not sure. Hey, I see a bunch of people are in here. Thanks for joining. Hey, Brian, good to see you again. Hey, Jerry, Mark, everybody. I'm really struggling here because I've got to look at this on my phone while I'm doing this. So not my normal thing. Now, I just want to, briefly, once again, thank all of my subscribers, whether you're a paid subscriber or not. I'm continuing this project of being here on Substack. I started in January of this year so that I would write more about photography. My subscribers, if you are so inclined to pay for a subscription, you'll get monthly Zoom Hangouts live where we can actually go back and forth and you can ask me questions, all kinds of stuff, plus access to my technical articles, my videos. So I appreciate y'all for being here. I know I don't have much else to say. I got to take this lens out. I think I'm going to go to the zoo if the weather is any decent here, this is a perfect go to the zoo lens. You walk around with this for the larger zoo animals, and don't laugh. Going to your local zoo is a great way to practice with your kit if you're into wildlife photography. Sure, there's some cages, there's whatever, but or enclosures. But if you want to practice how your autofocus works, how the animal recognition works, if you have subject detection, go to the zoo, walk around, with whatever camera that you have, try out your gear there. It's a great way to do it. I highly recommend doing that. But thanks again for everybody who's joined in. I know I don't have an hour's worth of content, but it's good to have these little hangouts. And until next time, don't forget to hit the like button on that little heart so that I don't know, I'm told that this helps. It helps the ranking. So thanks again. And I will hopefully continue to see you guys on Substack. Thanks, guys.